You know that gentle pause right before a kiss, when your heart melts and the world seems to slip away? Yet there's a quiet question in your mind. Does he feel the same as I do, or is this just another fleeting moment? We often talk about what we need, love, comfort, security. But have you ever wondered what men yearn to hear in those soft, vulnerable seconds? What words can pierce through their exterior and truly touch their soul? In this video, I'll guide you through 5 simple yet profound phrases every man secretly longs to hear before a kiss, words that foster emotional trust, deepen intimacy, and show him he's not just desired, but truly seen. If you've ever loved deeply, yet felt something was missing, hit like, share your story in the comments, and subscribe to join a space where we explore real love, real connection, and the power of heartfelt truth. Because you deserve more than just a kiss. You deserve a bond that endures. Monty, Section 1. I feel secure with you. There's something magical about feeling secure with someone. Not just physically, but emotionally. The kind of security where you can let go, where you don't have to justify every emotion or conceal every imperfection, where your heart softens because you know you're not being judged. We often hear about women needing this kind of security, and we do, but what's often overlooked is how much men crave it too. Most men won't voice it. They're taught to be the strong one, the pillar, the steady hand, but that pressure to always hold it together, it's heavy and it can feel isolating. A man might go through life seeming confident, composed, even lighthearted, but deep down he wonders, does what I carry mean anything to anyone? That's why the words, I feel secure with you, strike so deeply. In that moment, he realizes, maybe for the first time in ages, that his presence matters, that his efforts to protect, support, and stay steady aren't just expected, they're cherished. I feel secure with you doesn't just boost his ego, it speaks to his purpose, to the part of him that wants to be your refuge when life gets tough, your anchor when emotions surge, your soft place to land when the world feels too much. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Sarah, once said this to her partner without planning it. After a tough day, she looked at him and whispered, I don't know how I'd manage without you. I feel so secure with you. And you know what happened? This man, 6'3", always in control, rarely showing emotion, paused, and tears welled in his eyes. Not because he was weak, but because he'd spent years trying to be enough. And in that moment, he finally felt it. Those 5 words unlocked something in him. They said, you're doing it right. I see you. I trust you. I value who you are. Not for his career, not for what he provided, but for how he showed up, how he held space, how he stayed. And here's the thing. When a man feels safe to be that safe space, it transforms your relationship. It builds a quiet strength between you, one that doesn't need big gestures or dramatic proof, just mutual grounding, a steady knowing, a love that feels solid. We sometimes forget how rare this is. We get used to being independent, handling everything ourselves, and we're proud of our strength, as we should be. But what if strength also looks like this, letting someone be there for us and telling them it matters? Because those 5 words aren't just about how you feel, they're a mirror reflecting back the man he's worked so hard to be. In a world that often tells men to toughen up, your words can be the one place he gets to soften. So say it when the moment feels right, before a kiss, after a long day, or during a quiet morning. Let him know, I feel secure with you. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give a man is the truth that he's already enough. Section 2, you make me feel radiant. This one often catches people off guard because when we think of men and beauty, we usually picture them saying it to us. They compliment our beauty, our hair, our smile, our presence. But what if I told you one of the most profound things you can say to a man is, you make me feel radiant? Not because he's seeking praise or is vain, but because it tells him something rare. The way you love me helps me love myself more. Think about that. We live in a world that constantly tells women how to look, how to act, how to stay desirable. As we age, that pressure doesn't disappear, it just shifts. We become caregivers, problem solvers, providers. But how often do we feel truly radiant, feminine, wanted? Now imagine looking into the eyes of the man you love and saying, When I'm with you, I feel radiant again. That hits differently. You're not just complimenting him. You're telling him he brings out something in you that's been buried, overlooked, or forgotten. You're saying, I feel safe enough to be soft. I feel seen. I feel like myself. Let me tell you about Laura, 52, a teacher with 3 kids, divorced, and nearly done with love. Then she met David, a gentle, quiet man, the opposite of her ex. One evening, they were on the couch after dinner, no makeup, hair in a messy bun, wearing sweats. He looked at her like she was glowing. She chuckled. I must look a mess. He said, you look like home. Tears stung her eyes, and she whispered back, you make me feel radiant. Not just pretty, radiant. Because he made her feel alive, whole, not just put together. That one sentence shifted something in him too. He later told her, I didn't know I could have that kind of impact. I always thought I was just the quiet one, the helper, the background guy. But that moment made him feel seen, needed, purposeful. Because men, just like women, want to know their presence matters, that their love makes a difference, that their care isn't just nice, it's transformative. When you say, you make me feel radiant, you're giving him something sacred. You're saying, you bring me back to myself. That's not just a compliment, it's an honor. Because here's what we don't often hear. The men who truly love you don't just want to be desired. They want to make a difference in your life. They want to know their love helps you feel more like the woman you are deep down. Not the perfect version, not the idealized version, but the real, radiant, unapologetic you. So when you feel that light returning, when you catch your reflection and smile for no reason, don't keep it to yourself. Tell him, you make me feel radiant. To a good man, those 5 words aren't just sweet. They're everything he's ever wanted to hear, but didn't know he needed. Boys, Section 3. I respect your resilience. And we sometimes overlook how much men carry, not the tangible things, but the silent burdens. The pressure to stay steady, to keep pushing forward even when they're exhausted, to remain calm when life feels chaotic, to be strong not just for themselves but for everyone around them. The truth is, most men rarely hear that it matters, that all the effort, the holding in, the showing up, means something. That's why the words, I respect your resilience, can feel like a lifeline in a desert. Because true resilience, the kind that doesn't demand attention, is often unseen, yet it's everywhere. It's in the man who goes to work daily, even when he's quietly battling self-doubt. It's in the one who stays kind when life feels unfair. It's in the husband who holds your hand through a crisis, or the partner who doesn't walk away when things get tough. This kind of resilience isn't loud, it doesn't boast, but it holds everything together. To recognize it, to voice that respect out loud, gives him something rare, acknowledgement without him having to ask. Let me share a story about Emily and Carlos, together for nearly 10 years. Life had gotten busy, work, kids, bills, the daily grind that quiets love. One night, Carlos came home drained. He'd handled a family issue for Emily's aging mother, sorted a work crisis, and still made sure their daughter got to her dance class, all in one day. As they sat on the couch in the dark, Emily looked at him and whispered, I respect your resilience. No long explanation, just that. And he broke down, not out of weakness, but because someone finally saw him. He later told her, I thought I had to be resilient because it's expected, but hearing you say that made me feel it actually matters. Most men don't need to be called heroes. They just want to know that being steady, patient, dependable counts, that who they are at their core isn't just enough. It's respected. When you say, I respect your resilience, you're not just praising his actions, you're honoring his character. You're saying, I see the weight you carry, I notice the things you don't complain about. I respect how you stay grounded even when no one says thank you. That matters more than we realize. Because real resilience isn't about control or dominance. It's about staying steady when it's easier to shut down, holding space when everything's falling apart, choosing presence over and over. So say it. Say it when he's done something small but meaningful, when you notice how he keeps your world safe and steady, when he least expects it. Those are the words he's likely needed for years. I respect your resilience isn't just a compliment. It's a mirror, reflecting back the man he hopes he is, the one you already see. Section 4. You guide with integrity. Not all leadership is bold, not all strength wears a crown, and not all good men get recognized for how they guide. We live in a world that often values charisma over character, flash over substance, noise over quiet wisdom. But a man who guides with integrity is different. He doesn't need the spotlight. He's driven by something deeper, principle. When you tell him you guide with integrity, you're giving him a kind of respect most men rarely receive, even if they've spent their lives earning it. True leadership in love isn't about control. It's about consistency, empathy, and principle. It's how he handles pressure, how he treats people who can't offer him anything, how he stays grounded when life gets messy. It's in the way he chooses kindness when it'd be easier to walk away, the way he protects your peace, not with power, but with presence. Let me tell you about a couple I met, Anna and Michael. They'd been through tough times. Anna had dealt with anxiety for years, and there were moments she couldn't articulate her needs or emotions. But Michael never made her feel like a burden. He didn't try to fix her. He stayed, listened, held her hand even when answers weren't clear. One night after they'd navigated a particularly hard season, Anna looked at him and said, "You guide with integrity." He paused, almost unsure how to respond. No one had ever said that to him, not his parents, not his boss, not even his closest friends. Yet he was guiding with compassion, quiet strength, unwavering commitment. That moment changed something between them. She wasn't just loving him, she was naming who he was. And that kind of validation goes deep. Here's the truth. Many men want to lead in love, not to dominate, not to control, but to create a space where trust can grow, where their partner feels safe, supported, and free to be herself. But they don't always know if they're doing it right. They doubt, they wonder if their efforts matter. When you say you guide with integrity, you quiet those doubts. You tell him, "I see how you lead us," not with pride, but with purpose. You're saying his character matters, that the way he shows up, even when no one's watching, shapes your relationship in you. That's a powerful thing to say. It's not about status or success. It's about how he treats people, how he moves through the world, how he honors not just you, but himself. Men crave admiration, not flattery, but real grounded respect. This phrase, "you guide with integrity," is pure respect. It says, "You're the kind of man I trust to walk beside." And so say it. Say it when he shows up in the hard moments, when he chooses principle over ease, when he makes space for your voice even as he leads with his own. You guide with integrity offers something sacred in a noisy world. Clarity, respect, and a deep love that sees who he truly is and names it. Section 5. I'm honored to be yours. There's a quiet power in this one. It's not flashy, not poetic, but it lands straight in the heart because it speaks to who he is to you. I'm honored to be yours. Think about those words. Not "I love you," not "I need you," but "I'm honored to be yours." That's deeper because honor is about choice, about being seen and claimed in the most honest, vulnerable, data way. So many men go through life being useful, reliable, but not always cherished, not spoken of with honor, especially by the woman they love. But when you look at him, not for what he does, not for what he earns, but for the man he's become and say, "I'm honored to be yours," something shifts inside him. He's not just loved, he's respected, chosen, not out of necessity, but out of admiration. Let me tell you about Julia and Ethan, together for nearly 18 years. 2 kids, a mortgage, careers, aging parents. A full life where the words got quiet. One evening at a friend's anniversary party, someone asked Julia, "What do you admire most about Ethan?" She didn't hesitate. She smiled and said, "I'm honored to be his, always have been." Ethan didn't say much, but later that night he took her hand and whispered, "You don't know how much that meant to me." Because no one had ever said that to him. Not like that, not with warmth, not with heart, not out loud. That's the thing, men don't always ask for validation, but that doesn't mean they don't need it, especially the quiet ones. The ones who carry so much and complain so little, who show up again and again even when it's hard. When you say, "I'm honored to be yours," here's what he hears. I see the life you're building with me. I know I have a choice, and I'm still choosing you. You're not invisible to me. One that tells him he matters, not just in private, but publicly too, that he's someone you're honored to stand beside, worth celebrating, not just behind closed doors, but in the world. That's what makes this phrase so intimate. It's not about performance, it's about presence, about the character he shows when no one's watching and how much it means to you. So say it, on a walk, over dinner, in a quiet moment before a kiss. Let him know that being his is something you hold with pride. I'm honored to be yours tells him that who he is and how he loves makes you proud to stand beside him. And when you give him that, he won't just feel admired, he'll feel deeply seen and loved. But if these phrases are so simple, why don't we say them more? Why do words like, I feel secure with you, or I'm honored to be yours, get caught between our hearts and our lips? Maybe we've been taught to guard our softness, to protect ourselves, to wait until we're sure it's safe to be vulnerable. Or maybe we started believing that giving too much affirmation makes us weak, dependent, or less powerful, especially for women who've had to be strong for so long, who've rebuilt themselves after heartbreak, disappointment, or silence. Being open again can feel like walking without armor. But here's the truth. Your softness isn't weakness. Your words aren't surrender. They're connection in its purest form. You don't lose yourself by telling someone they matter. You grow. You invite intimacy. You choose clarity over assumption. Isn't that what we all crave? We think these phrases are for him, but they're for us too. Speaking true, loving truth is how we build love that lasts. Love that feels real, safe, and clear. Love that doesn't leave you wondering where you stand. So maybe it's time to let go of the fear that speaking deeply makes you less powerful. It doesn't. It makes you brave. Say the words, not because you have to, but because you mean them, because you're done holding back love that's meant to be shared. Today you've heard 5 simple phrases, each a quiet doorway into a man's heart. Not grand, not poetic, just real. Because at the end of the day, every man wants to feel seen, valued, and trusted. Now you know how to give him that. If this stirred something in you, let it inspire you to speak. Don't wait. Don't hold back. Your words have power, and when they come from the heart, they don't just strengthen love, they transform it. Have you ever said one of these phrases to someone you love? Or are you waiting to hear them yourself? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And if this video touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with a woman who needs to know her words can change everything. Thank you for listening, friends. If this spoke to you, please consider subscribing or sharing so others can benefit too. I look forward to seeing you in future episodes of Talk with John. Take care.